Welcome to the video, everybody. Hope you're doing well. In this video, I'm going to be talking about my experience of learning salsa and bachata dancing over the last 2 years. So, I started dancing salsa bachata December 2023. So, it's now been about 2 years, and I want to share my experience of what I've gone through, the lessons I've learned, the changes I've noticed in my psychology, in my physicality, in my confidence, and just overall quality of life. And I hope that this video serves as an inspiration to anybody out there at any age. If you're interested in learning a new hobby or, you know, um, trying new things, that this video serves as an inspiration for you to do that with salsa bachata. So let's get started. So the first thing I notice, the benefit of learning salsa bachata, and this probably comes with most new physical endeavors, is you learn to be humble. You learn to be a beginner again. And what this means is that when you first start, you're going to go through a period of where you're not skilled. You're going to go through a period where you don't feel confident. You're going to go through a period where you feel uncomfortable engaging in dance, in asking for partners to dance, in performing the moves, in doing the socials, because you don't have the skill yet. You don't have the repetition put into the skill so that you feel comfortable. And that phase is massive, because if you can get through that, you can embrace being a beginner. I think that this is huge for your psychological evolution, because you learn to be okay with not being good at things initially. You learn to be okay with doing something in which you're not good at, you're not skilled at, you don't feel competent at, but continue to persist. Continue to learn, practice, and eventually improve. And this is massive. I've seen a lot of people come and go in the dance scene in my 2 years of dancing, and most people don't stick to it because they don't like the feeling of being a beginner, of feeling clumsy, of feeling self-conscious when they're dancing, feeling like they're not good enough. And for me, it took me about 3 months until I got over that psychological barrier of self-consciousness. Once I did, it was a massive shift in my enjoyment of the art of dance, of partner dance, which salsa bachata is. Once you get over your own self-consciousness of how you yourself are moving and dancing, how you look, and you put your attention on the music, on the rhythm, on your partner, on connection, a whole new level of enjoyment and flow is achieved. And in my experience, once I tasted that flow experience, I was hooked. I'm telling you, I've been going about 2 to 4 times a week for the last 2 years consistently with no breaks. And the reason because of that is because of the flow state, is because of the enjoyment of just the let go of self-consciousness and enjoying the present moment, the music, the partner, the expression. Because once you know the fundamentals, you can express through your body in your own way, your own creativity, your own style, and it's liberating and it's freeing and it feels wonderful. So, number one, getting over that sort of the benefit is you become, if you stick to it, you develop the psychology of embracing being a beginner, embracing looking foolish, embracing not knowing, and still continuing to persist regardless. that persistence mentality of being okay being a beginner is huge. And another thing I've noticed over the last 2 years is I've become a lot more graceful in my movement, better coordination, better timing, more awareness of my body and space. I've always been physically, I feel it personally, because I've been training so long. I've done martial arts, jiu-jitsu, boxing, running. I've done movement my whole life. So I already feel like I had a strong kinesthetic awareness of my body. But with dance, I feel like it just amplified it to a higher degree, a higher level. And I feel a lot more comfortable and at ease in my body. And that's humongous, because if you look around when you go out in public and you look at people, you can see the dis-ease in how people walk, and how people sit, and how people carry their bodies. And in my experience, dance has given me this calmness and grace in my posture, in my movements, that is extremely valuable. When you have this ease in your body where you can just settle in, it's powerful. People respond to you differently. You feel better about yourself because you become non-reactive. You become calmer, in my experience. And this is something that I've noticed in myself. I just move with more fluidity, and that's huge. That is humongous. That's another thing. It's just fluidity in your movement becomes more graceful and feels smoother. That's one way to put it. Another benefit I've noticed after the last 2 years is an increased level of social confidence. So, social dancing, social salsa bachata dancing forces you to engage, interact, approach, lead with other people. It's a communication between people, and it forces you to get outside your comfort zone. It forces you to go ask for the dance. It forces you to lead. It forces you to keep the pace of the dance, to lead the dance, and to do it confidently, to learn to do it confidently. And how this has impacted my social confidence is I feel a lot more confident approaching women. My body language, my tonality is more relaxed. I'm confident that I know how to lead. I know how to move my body well. And it just has made me a lot more centered in myself, because of the thousands and thousands of repetitions, essentially, of asking for dances, dancing, leading, and doing this with so many different types of people. I've become, I guess, the ability to just interact with people in a charismatic way just has shot up exponentially. And that's huge, That's humongous in life. Just learning to interact with people, to be at ease with people, in my experience, is a skill today that is becoming diminished more and more, because our world is so digital. Our world is so, on the screens, on computers. And I see this with a lot of younger people, where they struggle with communication. And this is simply because they're not engaging in as much in-person interaction, talking, engaging with people, involving yourself with people. And the nature of salsa bachata dancing is you have to engage with people. And the more that you do it, the better you get at it, and your confidence goes up. You'll have no problem asking anyone to dance, dancing confidently, being relaxed, having a conversation, getting to know them, connecting, eye contact, your ability to sense other people's energy, your ability to read micro expressions, to adjust your communication and body language based off what you're getting from somebody. All of this is trained from the practice of salsa bachata dancing, and it translates to everyday life because you are engaging in that process of nonverbal communication constantly, and you just become a better communicator. I don't know if you guys heard, but communication is like 90% nonverbal, and dancing is a nonverbal art. So it forces you to develop that 90% nonverbal communication, and that strengthens and that improves your 10% verbal communication as well. So that's what I say is another benefit. Social capability, social confidence has jumped up quite dramatically. And what else? Another thing I would say, another benefit, is that it just raises your baseline mood. The simple act of dancing 2-3 times a week has raised my baseline general well-being. Because every week, I know I'm going to go engage in something which is flow state based. It's something that's going to trigger flow state. And I don't know if you've heard of flow state, but flow state is essentially the state of which you become fully present in the moment and everything else sorts of fades away and you're fully immersed in that moment. Partner dance, salsa bachata, is literally designed to put you in flow state with the music, the rhythm, the dancing, the connection with your partner. It's the perfect practice to enter flow state dance. And this just makes your quality of life better. You feel better. You go out, you dance for a few hours, you make these connections, you have great dances. You feel good. You feel energized. You feel like your nervous system has been cleaned. Some days I'll have a hard day out working my business. But then the night I go dancing and I just feel like a cleanse, like a psychological, physical cleanse has happened. My mind's clear, my emotions are calm, and I feel grounded. And this is essentially because rhythmic movement and dance and musicality activates the vagus nerve, which is like some part of the body that has to do with sort of cleansing the emotional body. So the stress and cortisol that we've developed over the day is sort of flushed out through endorphins and positive feeling chemicals that the body generates when we engage in dance. And this just makes your stress, it lowers your stress, it improves your well-being, it makes your mind sharper, it makes your mind more fluid, and your life becomes more enjoyable. You're less likely to be depressed. You're less likely to be anxious. You're less likely to ruminate. Because what is rumination? Rumination is the process of getting in negative thought loops. When you engage in movement, physical, coordinated movement, you are using your body in an intense manner. You're focused externally on your body and your partner and the music, and that sort of funnels your attention to something positive, transmutes that negative energy, emotional energy, into a positive expression, which improves your mental and emotional health massively. So these are the benefits I have recognized in myself from dancing salsa bachata for the last 2 years. And I hope that this video serves as an inspiration to you to take it up, take a class, go out, learn it, experience it, because I think it has a lot to offer for everybody at any stage of life. Genuinely. So That's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you liked it, like the video. If you have questions, comments, leave them down below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. And we got more content coming soon. This channel, the values of this channel that I want to project is that of a multidimensional, polymythic human being. We want to grow in every domain of life, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, all levels, to improve constantly, the Kaizen mentality. If you want to be a part of this process, this journey, subscribe to the channel and watch out for future videos. Peace out.